You don't feel hot in your bag?
No, it's not too bad. I got
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the number 2 and Buru Show, Week 7 NFL Big Pick 4, giving you the picks for Sunday NFL games, Week 7. We're not doing too well.
That might be
Let's
an
take a
understatement.
look at the recap. Let's take a look at the recap. Oh, whoa. We are 8-15-1, with the highlight being your Big D guarantee at 4-2.
That's half the wins.
What do you fellas have to say for yourselves?
I think the bag says it all.
Yeah, we blow. 0-4. Oh.
We are who we thought we were.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to run people here with pitchforks and torches.
Ready? We are who we thought we were.
That's what we're looking for, right? A little
we let him off the hook. We let him off the hook.
a little of your
Playoff.
San Francisco rice-a-roni treat.
They are who we thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Yes, you did. So you are appropriately attired going into Week 7. Hopefully, you can redeem yourself. I've reviewed the picks with our staff here. I think they're looking much better. I think maybe you went back to the drawing board a little bit. Took a look at your methodology. Maybe you're going to be more like the old Jets.
Hello, you play to win the game.
Instead of the San Francisco treat. So here we are moving into Week 7 with your Buru and number 2. Is that like a reference to the bowel movement number 2?
Yeah.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, that's what we did last week. We took a big dump last week. So I'm number 2. He's the Buru and number 2.
So we could also call you POS for short. That would be appropriate also. So we pretty well have covered the opening statements. Yep. We missed a week of the show, and is there, I guess, no better words than those of our Coach Parcells.
This team is going to the playoffs.
Oh, that wasn't it. Hang on.
So he sucks you guys right in. So consider yourself sucked.
Really didn't want to do that.
Consider yourself sucked.
Oh, terrible.
So as always, we have closed our opening statements, and as always, we will continue on with. We missed. Dan, are you gonna have 2 Vag of the weeks or just one? So we're gonna go to the Week 7 Vag of the week from Big D.
Well, it could be us. We're going 0-4 last week. But instead, I'm picking the Dallas Cowboys as the Vag of the week. The end of that Baltimore game was unbelievably incompetent. That was incredible. And then they all cried about it after the game. They all throwing different people under the bus. Romo threw the receivers under the bus. The coach threw the quarterback under the bus. It was unbelievable. It was a circus. You have 30 seconds left. You have a timeout. You set the receivers deep down the field, and you don't call a timeout. And everyone starts screwing around the field, looking at each other. One guy's just quietly strolling up the field, looking at the ground. And it was a total epitome of incompetence. And for that, they are the Vags of the week. I mean, that was amazing. I've never seen that type of lack of discipline from a professional football team at the end of a game situation like that, where they had a chance to win. If they call timeout, they have a chance to run another play, maybe two, get 10 yards closer, and they win the game with the game-winning field goal. Because of all that, the Dallas Cowboys collectively are the badge of the week.
Your Week 7 badge of the week. Your Cowgirls. I always question Romo, when he does his interviews and he says, he talks about pressure and he says, "Oh, I'm just playing for fun," but yet anytime he gets in a pressure situation, he's like the old Dan White,
Yeah, he shits his pants.
Well, also, too, you got to put some blame on Jason Garrett, because remember, he had an incident last year where he didn't have enough timeouts or whatever, and they couldn't kick the field goal.
Yeah.
Wasn't it against the Cardinals or something
I
last
think
year?
so. He had some other debacle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He used a timeout for to freeze the kicker or something stupid.
Yeah.
And then he didn't have a timeout when he needed it.
We
and
didn't
it
have
cost
time
him the
when he
game.
needed it, yeah.
Yeah, that was awful. So he's done it before.
So we obviously need a 4-0 week here going into Week 7. I don't know. Well, yeah, my analysis was going to be, I thought maybe there was what was happening is we're just picking the best two team or the best four teams on Sunday, and then we just back into some analysis, which of course, in the NFL is not going to work as far as covering Vegas spreads. So I think you were a little more creative this week. There's a big underdog in there.
Yes.
Mixing it up a little bit instead of saying, "Hey, here's the four best teams playing on
I tried
Sunday."
to tell that to Dan.
Yeah. Well, I
Dan didn't take any.
I think I did. I think both my picks are good.
No, you didn't
different.
pick any underdogs, though. That's what he's saying.
No,
I picked an
but
underdog.
I took a road, two road favorites.
Yeah, but that's not a big. I actually went. I'm bold. I actually took a chance.
Yeah, I'm 4-2 with the big D here. You're 1-5-1. So.
Yeah. Well, you've got a division where the teams tied for the division lead are all 3-3. So I mean, this is kind of a real challenging season for betting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, this week even.
Where you can be the division lead with a 3-3 record.
Yeah, this week was difficult, kind of, because there's so many low spreads. Because all these teams are so close together.
Yeah, I mean, I told this to Dan. I know, like last year, the year before, you could make excuses. Like, the one time I picked the Packers and Aaron Rodgers got hurt in the second half, and they lost. I can make an excuse and say Aaron Rodgers got hurt, but I just sucked last week. I mean, I'm not even going to make excuses because I don't even have anything to say.
Oh, we both suck.
I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I honestly,
Yeah, we lost to a guy at work who picked 4 teams at random. And
yeah,
we went
we're
3-1.
losing to a guy picking at random.
Yeah, we need to put out dog bowls with all the teams, and names on them, and have a dog run up and eat out of a certain bowl. We might be more successful.
Yeah, right.
But we do research. Like,
Yeah.
I look on, I spend lunchtime looking up on my phone. I have an app where I can go to SportsCenter and look up stats and stuff. I don't know. It's weird. I don't even know.
Oh, well, we're going to do better this week.
If not, you're wearing the hats again next week.
Yeah.
And not because it's Halloween. All right, so let's have our first redemption pick, first combined pick, presented by Big Danny number 2.
Yeah, that's right. I'm taking Green Bay at St. Louis minus 5 points. St. Louis coming off a tough loss at Miami, whereas Green Bay is coming off a big win that they really needed over the Texans in Houston. I understand this is Green Bay's second week in a row on the road, but St. Louis, hey, they play good defense, but their team is really banged up. The receivers are all out. Steven Jackson, who, by the way, was another nominee for Badge of the Week for his shenanigans on the sideline, which I'll get into in a second, is probably not going to play or play very much. And I think that win last week was a big morale boost for the Packers. They've had some really tough luck this year. First, that stupid call at the end of that game in Seattle. The debacle the first week where they just got dump trucked by the 49ers. So I think they're looking to build some momentum. McCarthy's not a stupid guy. He's a good coach. And I believe that they're going to get back on the right track this week against St. Louis, who really struggled. They got beat up a little bit in that game against the Dolphins. And I said Steven Jackson, I believe, started the game, then he left. And then, for everyone who remembers, he did a Jason Peters type of thing on the sideline. A few years ago, Jason Peters supposedly got hurt in a game against the Eagles against the Raiders. And he just proceeded to sit on the sideline and be a cheerleader and like jump up and down and acting like a jerk the whole game. And everyone's thinking, wow, how is he hurt if he can jump up and down? Well, supposedly Steven
He
Jackson
was
hurt
doing
his,
jumping jacks.
yeah, right. And supposedly Steven Jackson hurt his groin. Yeah, he was seen on the sideline jumping around, carrying on, jumping up in the air. And there's the team was trying to mount a game-winning drive at the end of the game. That's
Yeah,
awful.
That's also like when Cutler
It's like the guy
was
that-
on the exercise bike.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. If you're ready for your team, you should be out there. If you're
Yeah.
hurt, you're hurt, and then you sit there. You don't jump up and down and act like a clown. So he's going to be out, and I didn't really do much research. We figured that since Ed does none and goes 3-1, of us doing
Yeah,
anything.
we kind of canned the research this week.
Yeah. So, but anyway, I like the Packers in this game. I think they'll be able to cover. They should win by a touchdown against St. Louis, even though St. Louis does play hard, and it could still be a one-score game, which is a touchdown. So I don't think that's too much to ask. So I'm going with the Packers.
Well, the old Packers that we know and love showed up last week, like you say, for the first time this season.
Really
So
good.
who's going to show up this Sunday?
I mean,
Hopefully.
the Texans were a top 5 defense.
Yeah, I just think that's going to change them a little bit. I think they're going to be motivated and they can get back in this. Because the Bears and Vikings have been pretty good. And they have to win their
Yeah, I
games.
mean the old love train didn't look so good, right?
No, they didn't play too well. The Packers did a nice job. So, and the Rams are
Actually,
much.
both love trains. The 49ers lost too.
Yeah, but we
Both
didn't
our
go
love
with them.
trains lost.
Yeah, but we didn't go with them, fortunately. We just threw the other
So
games.
we're only left with one undefeated team, are we not?
Yeah,
the
Atlanta.
Falcons.
They play against the Eagles next
We're
week.
gonna win 82-7. I'm predicting right now.
I don't know.
Because you didn't hear,
Uh.
Andy Reid actually had some tryouts. He's gonna actually hire some high school football linemen to be linemen next week.
They're just gonna get a dump truck right there. It's gonna run right.
He needs to hire that high school kicker that kicked a 67-yard field goal. Did you see
No.
that?
Was it off a tee?
No.
Wow.
Wow.
No, high school game. It was all over the media today. 67-yard field goal.
Wow. That's pretty impressive.
Broke the NFL record.
Wow. Yeah, that was 63.
Yeah, but that's not the NFL.
Yeah, I know that's just. And colleges, what's college?
I don't know. But one guy did off a tee like 65 yards, I think, but it's off a tee, so it's easier.
Wow.
It doesn't count. It's not the same as off the ground. They can't do that anymore. Whatever.
We also have a coworker. Her name is Shannon. We think she would make an excellent offensive lineman for the Eagles. You know what I mean?
Oh, I
Right,
also
Dan?
have a.
No comment.
No, that's not Dan. That's number 2.
That's number 2.
Use your proper names.
That's right. We're anonymous. I'm Brewer.
Right, you're
I also
brutal.
had a interlude here. It's a joke that's related to the bag theme for today. When the old cowboy goes into the pharmacy and he says, "I'd like a pack of condoms, please," and the cashier says, "Would you like a bag with that?" And he says, "No, she's not that ugly."
That's good.
That's pretty good.
So moving on to the combined pick number 2, presented by your Buru. Buru.
Oh, okay.
Hello, Buru.
Oh,
First the Buru.
All right, for week 2, week 7, second combined pick, we're gonna take Pittsburgh -1 at Cincinnati. Like I said, we haven't really, we didn't do much research. It's gonna be a tough divisional game. I think over the past 4 or 5 years, Roethlisberger has a really good record against Cleveland and Cincinnati. Pittsburgh's coming off a really tough loss, and Trent Richardson's dinged up. I think Pittsburgh's just going to come back. They're going to be angry. They've always played Cincinnati well, and I like the -1. I like the cover. I like the spread there.
Yeah, I think Roethlisberger could have a big game against them. Their pass defense is bad.
They're on the road in the old new Paul Brown Stadium. It's a classic rivalry. But I will tell you that's one of the few NFL games I have attended is Pittsburgh at Cincinnati. I wasn't sure whether I was in Pittsburgh or Cincinnati due to the fan, the fan mix. People were walking in. I saw 4 people walking in with a big cardboard cutout of a bus. For Jerome Bettis.
Yeah.
And I'm saying to myself, come on, Cincinnati, you can do better than this than fill half the stadium with Pittsburgh fans.
Pittsburgh travels well.
Yeah, it is Cincinnati. Nobody really lives there.
That's a day trip. That's a day trip for them.
Yeah.
Stadium's going to be half full of Steelers fans.
I remember that movie Traffic. Part of it takes place in Cincinnati, and the father is looking for his daughter for like 3 days in the city of Cincinnati. I'm thinking, is it really going to take that long to go through Cincinnati? I don't think so. It's like a 45-minute trip here. It's like starts a day and ends at night. I'm like, no, this is Cincinnati. I don't think so.
Easy now. I was born there. Okay.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just go easy now. All right. So there you have it. 2 picks are in the books. I think they're strong picks for your 2 combined picks. And now, ladies and gentlemen, a word from our Week 7 Big Pick 4 sponsor.
Che cosa guardi, eh? Che cosa guardi? Mi stai spogliando con gli occhi? Poverino, non puoi farne a meno. Ti batte il cuore, ti gira la testa. Sei perso pensando che sarò tua per sempre. The Fiat 500 Abarth. You'll never forget the first time you see one.
Yeah, I just had to check the video real quick.
Yeah.
No, I like that you're staying in costume because I think the time that I did the mask, I only did it for like the beginning of the show. I didn't man up and actually have my mask on for the entire
He
show.
had trouble drinking your beer. No, it's true. He couldn't get the beer through the hole of the mask.
Maybe that's
Now I
here
remember.
again.
Now I remember. There was.
I've been trying to get beer in here.
I don't know. Well, not next week, but maybe the week after that.
You know what? Until you have a winning record overall, no beer for you. That's right.
Your Big O's.
Until you start doing your damn job.
Hey, wait a second. Yo, let's not call Mr. Pot over here.
Yeah, right.
What's your Big O? 1-4, 1-5.
Look, how can I do a big O when you go 0 for 4? You're stealing my fate there, aren't you?
Yeah, right. Mr. Brown just goes Mr. Shit.
The Big O was coming back, right? I mean, coming in, I could have gone up to a winning record last week, but I had no wins to pick from.
Yeah, right.
That ain't slim pickings.
Thanks to
Touche.
the guru and number 2.
Touche.
What? I mean, looking back at last week,
You have tipping 0 times 0 is 0.
what did you miss? I mean, what were the games that you look back on and say, hindsight, oh shit, why didn't I see that coming?
You know, I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I'm lost because I have no clue. Like, I thought my picks were good, and they completely turned out the opposite. I don't even know. I don't even have excuses.
I mean, honestly, what's it called? Baltimore kind of screwed that up at the end of that game. They should have covered.
Yeah,
and
that was a winning pick in terms of the win-loss.
Yeah,
but they just
Cincinnati
didn't
got
cover.
killed by the stinky Browns. Like, that's bullshit.
Yeah, it is bullshit.
It is.
Stupid
The Browns were
Browns.
0-4.
They were 0 for their last 11. They were 0-5 this season. They beat the Bengals
Yeah.
with stupid.
And what was the deal with the Pats where the DB had to go up and Brady kept talking smack to him during the game, he kept saying to Brady, the one DB, kept saying, "I'm going to take one from you. I'm going to take one from you," and Brady kept saying, "Well, talk to come see me after the game. Come see me after the game. And then he got a pick.
Oh, nice.
So then they had that picture on the field. He went up and saw Brady after the
Nice.
game. He's like, but I tell you, buddy, I'm going to take
nice.
one from you.
Yeah, who would that? I mean, we didn't pick the Patriots, but a lot of people probably got fucked on that pick
Yeah,
too.
and you know, and if you'd picked the Lions like you wanted to, you'd have gotten screwed on that pick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Tough call.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this season is completely unpredictable. There's a lot of 3-3 teams. There's no
Yeah.
dominant teams.
We were good last year. We had like 57%
Yeah, like
percentage.
57% last year.
Well, and who was calling the Jets blowout last week, right?
No one.
Yeah,
Oh,
no
that's
one was
right.
calling them
We
to
picked- yeah, we
rout
picked
the other
Indy.
team.
Yeah,
That's
we picked
another one.
Indy.
We
Yeah,
picked Indy and
yeah.
they got their asses kicked.
Yeah, they were bad.
That's right. That was one of your picks.
Fucking
Yeah, that was awful.
Andrew Luck. How about Andrew Fuck?
So here we move on to our
Shockers.
our premier feature, being the guarantees, starting with
The
your
Shockers
big
first.
number 2 guarantee.
No, we
He may even be able to take his mask off for the guarantee, being that he is 4-2.
no we
So let's have the first guarantee from number 2.
Well,
do
we'll
our
do our
shocker.
Shockers of the week first,
Shockers of the week first.
Oh,
and then
yeah, I forgot about the new feature, the Shocker of the Week. I actually saw on HuffPost where they had the worst Halloween costumes of all time, and one of them was the Shocker. It was like a suit shaped like the Shocker hand, right? Like worst Halloween costumes of all time. All right, so what's the shocker for week 7?
all right, my shocker is the Giants' performance over the 49ers, just blowing them out in San Francisco. I thought was impressive and shocking. I didn't expect that. I thought it'd be a tighter game. So that really was a shocking result.
And mine I mentioned earlier, the stinky Bungles losing to the 0-4 Browns. And not only losing, but losing by 10, which is pretty significant in the NFL, don't you think, Dan?
Yeah, I agree. That's two
That was-
scores. Yeah,
That's pathetic.
yeah, that's bad.
And my shocker is, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is a shocker. Didn't RG3 go on a huge run?
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the
last week-
game.
Yeah, 130 yards rushing.
Yeah, 75 of them in the last run of the game.
Shocker. All right, so let's have our first feature pick from your number 2.
Oh, I'm
Piece
gonna
of
let
shit.
Dan take the.
Well, I could take my
Oh
mask
no, he's
off.
going to be Big Dan for the pick.
Yeah,
He's gonna be Big
because
Dan for the pick.
I'm actually good with these picks. Unlike my combined.
Buru has to still be Buru though.
Yeah, my combined picks still suck. But anyway, I am picking New Orleans -1 at Tampa Bay. Tampa's coming off a big win off the Chiefs, but I think if you lose to the Chiefs, you get kicked out of the league. They stink, and Tampa stinks. Their pass defense is number 31 in the league. New Orleans can't do anything but throw, so they're going to kill them. I think this could be a blowout. New Orleans has coming off a bye week. As I said, Tampa's defense stinks. Drew Brees finally found some rhythm last week. I think this is the last week under the interim coach. Joe Vitt's going to be back on Monday, so they'll start to get back to some sort of normalcy on that team. But I just think Tampa stinks. And New Orleans is coming off a bye week because they have plenty of time to prepare. To see how bad that defense is, and I think they're just going to throw it right up their ass and win pretty handily. So I think it's a good pick, especially with such a low spread. Basically, New Orleans has to win the game, and I believe they're very capable of doing that.
I have a question. Is Vilma going to be back or no?
Vilma might play.
Might play. Okay.
Might play.
If
He's
he
eligible. He's
plays-
eligible to come up to PUP list, but I'm not
if
sure
he
how.
plays-
I'm not sure how healthy he is.
Oh, yeah.
He's not going to be in game shape really. He's not going to be able to be that much of an impact, other than maybe as the spiritual leader, as you like to put it. But for all those reasons, I just think New Orleans could just run roughshod over Tampa Bay.
So New Orleans wins a game.
Yeah, so Dan, I'm gonna just stop for 1 second. This could be a new part of our show. I think the weather could play a big role though if it rains because
It's not going to rain. No, it's going to be fine.
Because if it rains, then that could favor Tampa Bay.
I don't think it matters.
All right.
I don't think it matters, and I don't think it's going to rain. I think it's going to be fine. New Orleans is going to beat them.
So New Orleans wins a game, and Big Dan is already drinking the Kool-Aid. He thinks that we're back to the old
Well, no, I think it's the matchup. You have to
New
look at
Orleans.
the matchup. And this is a matchup that favors the Saints. If they're playing against a different team, maybe Atlanta this week. Atlanta has a pretty decent pass defense. They have a better shot of stopping them, whereas Tampa's pass defense is awful. I mean, I know they were good, okay last week, but against Brady Quinn. I mean, you can put me, Brian, and you out there and probably stop them, Brady Quinn. So it's going to be a totally different animal. Especially Jimmy Graham should be healthy this week after a week off. Colston, I mean, they should be fine.
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa's pass defense, they gave up 500 yards to Eli Manning and his crew.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, to me, it's all about the matchup. It's not really about New Orleans becoming a Super Bowl team again. But you have to look at the matchup sometimes. And the matchup really favors the Saints here.
Which I think is a good.
Well, and Tampa's quarterback looked good last week, I thought, too.
As I said,
For a
me,
change,
you, and
right?
Brian could look good against the Chiefs' defense.
Oh, the Chiefs.
Yeah, Romeo Cornell is another one who could be fired soon. But anyway, maybe he could bring in Mon Castillo to help him with the defense.
All right, so there you have your first guarantee from your 4-2 Big Dan, who will now go back to being a piece of shit for the rest of the show. All right, Buru, let's have your guaranteed pick to get us back to 2-4.
All right. Before I go,
You are 1-4, right?
1-4-1, yeah. Before I go into
All
my
right.
pick, I just want to say that I had some time to think about the first 6 weeks and what I did wrong, what could I do to improve. And I think what Dan said is a good segue into my guarantee. I think a lot of it's not just who's better when you look at the players and maybe rankings, but I think Dan's right. I think it's matchup. And for my pick for week 7, my big B, I'm going to take the New York Jets plus 10.5 at New England. I'm saying take the underdog, take the Jets. I think the Jets will cover. Even if they lose, I don't think New England can cover 10.5. I remember looking this stat up before the season. Last year, teams that were favored by 9 points or more only covered the spread around 25% of the time. So I just think it's a big number, and I think I'm going to start the first 5 to 6 weeks. We haven't done many underdogs. We picked almost 90, probably close to 90% favorites. So I think I'm going to start reevaluating. I'm going to start trying to pick and look for more underdogs. So that's probably the main reason I'm taking the Jets is kind of I'm leaning toward underdogs, and I'm going to look for more underdogs. Also, I just think it's a rivalry. They know each other. The Jets always play New England very tough. For those reasons, I just don't think New England, they're going to win, but I don't think they're going to win by 11 points. I just think they know each other so well. Rex Ryan's going to have a scheme for Tom Brady. He's going to blitz a lot. And I know the Jets have a lot of injuries at key positions, but I don't know. I just think they're going to play them tough. They know each other. They know they know Brady's offense, how he runs, how they run their patterns. I think it's going to be closer than people think.
So if we move to Vegas and do nothing more than bet $1 million every time the NFL has a plus 10 or more, we're rich?
Yeah. I think
basically that's what you're saying, 25%. So almost 75%. I'm rich, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting. That stat I actually didn't even get. I actually got that from ESPN. I didn't even go to I didn't even go to a gambling, like a Vegas website to get that. That was, I think, Hank Goldberg, ESPN guy. He's a gambler guy. He came on ESPN and they were talking about it. And he was saying last year, he said, stay away from high spreads.
On the favorite.
Yeah. 9 or more.
Yeah, but you realize just by us saying this on our show with our amount of views, now the line's going to shift, son of a bitch.
Yeah, right. After 5 people watched last show.
We can move spreads in Vegas. You better jump on that line fast, because that line's coming down.
I think 10's a safe number, don't you? Like, I could see them winning 24-14, don't you, Dan?
I think it'll be more like this way of 30-20, that kind of score.
Well, yeah.
New England's going to score. And what was interesting was last year, I remember watching New England at the Jets. And when the Jets were in their base defense with 4 linebackers, the Patriots threw the ball like 85% of the time in that defense. When they took out the extra linebacker, put in extra safety, New England ran the ball almost 85% of the time out of that formation. And little things like that during the game. We'll have to see if the Jets are able to make the adjustments they need to keep the game close.
You might be right. I just think that it's a divisional game. I think you can throw things out the window when you're talking favorite versus underdog, but it's two divisional opponents that know each
we have
other.
to agree here that we both believe the Patriots are probably going to win the game.
But you don't think they win by 11?
No, well, they could, but most likely I don't think they will. They could win by 10. As I said, it could be like a 30-20 kind of a game, or 30-21, because they're going to might give us some points.
The history here is really incredible. This is the team during the regular season last year that Rex Ryan buried the ball over. This is the team they came back to beat in the playoffs. You're playing at New England, and we all know their record at home. Jets have a key injury, right?
They have many.
Yeah.
Their running backs are hurt. Their
so
corner is hurt. The quarterback stinks.
Hey, what I've done all year hasn't worked, so I'm trying something new.
Why not?
I'm
yeah,
bold.
but look at last week. Like you say, Indy was favored last week. Let's look at recent times, and Jets blew them out.
Yeah, but it's also
they won outright, and they blew them out.
It's
right?
rookie quarterback versus Tom Brady has went to 5 Super Bowls. So.
Hey, let's think about this too.
But no, Brian's right though. You need to throw shit against the wall sometimes.
See what sticks. I got another scenario for you. Before we go, I'll try to make this quick. Think about this. 4 minutes to go, right? How about let's say the Patriots.
Here we go. Garbage touchdown theory.
Yeah. Patriots are up by 16 points with 4 minutes to go. They got a second team defense in.
I disagree with this completely.
Yeah, but let me
because
finish though.
In the NFL, 4 minutes is enough time to score twice.
The audience hasn't heard me. Okay.
I know, but it's too much time. If you have maybe a minute left,
3 minutes,
4 minutes,
2.5 minutes.
Minute. 4 minutes, 2.5 minutes.
You can
time.
have your. Let me finish.
Because if
what
you
I'm
have all
saying.
3 timeouts and you have the 2-minute warning, you still have enough time to get the ball back.
Whatever.
Time on the clock.
Whatever. 2.5 minutes. There's always a chance for a garbage touchdown. That's all I'm saying. There is a chance for a garbage touchdown for the Jets where they could get it down to 9 points, from 16 to 9, something like that. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I hope that happens. We need to go 4-0.
I think you should crickets because you were a little late on the draw there, weren't you? It took you like 10 minutes to hit the button.
Well, you have to figure out which button it is.
I forgot all about my favorite sound effect. All right, so this is how we end Brian's rant. That signals the end of the rant.
What? Didn't even make sense. It was a fairy.
What the hell is that?
It was a fairy coming.
It said air horn. I didn't realize.
Whatever.
Okay. You should have a soundbite of Foghorn Leghorn.
I totally lost my train of thought. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be an interesting game. If I had to come in on either side, I would be on that underdog, big time. I believe in that. There was also some scuttlebutt this week about Tebow coming in as a running back.
Yeah.
Because they're missing their second and third string running backs.
They're the big pick 4 of the NFL. They're desperate for wins. They're going to try anything.
They got to do the.
Nicely said.
The NFL
my
is
number 2. Nicely said.
Thank
number
you.
2.
The NFL is not beneath doing the old halfback pass. And what better running back to do that with than Tebow, right?
Yeah.
We've seen it in the NFL.
Yeah, but it's a little more surprising when the running back does it instead of him. Because you do know he's a quarterback. I think the only surprise out of it.
So there you have it. The picks are in. And we're going to have our final feature, our final features. What do we call these?
Man violation.
Entertainment interludes, man violation. I hope it's related to Brian this week at the wedding. I'm trying to think back. I'm sure there was one out there we could.
How he hit on that old woman?
Off. What did he do?
He hit on some older woman.
I never hit on an older woman.
I thought there was some old woman. Someone told me it was like the head of Democratic Party or something in New York.
Oh, Jane Rose.
She's like
I didn't
50.
hit on her. I talked to her.
Was she even there,
Yeah,
Brian?
she was
Which
there.
one was she?
Yeah, and
She was there.
Brian took her in the back and.
Yeah, had my way with her.
No, Brian picked the hottest, cutest 20-something, jet set, has every rich boyfriend in Manhattan. He says, Oh, I think she's pretty.
You were hitting on her too,
Okay,
Scott.
where do we go from here?
Scott, I go upstairs and you're talking to her.
Wait a minute,
Yeah,
wait a
what
minute.
were you doing up there?
Wait a minute. Where was Scott's girl from Collingswood?
Yeah, that's right. Where's Dawn? Why did you put her and one? Where was Dawn?
She couldn't make it.
Delta Dawn, what's that flower you have on?
Had to-
All right, let's have the man violation for week 7.
All right, man violation for week 7 is none other than the producer of the show, Scott O'Haron. Yes, he was at the wedding. He was reading a gay ass, fruity ass poem for my sister at the wedding, and he did it so well, so eloquently. You know, when I took a second glance and my brother was wearing a skirt. I had to do a double take.
Well, it wasn't an Irish wedding. You could have been wearing a kilt.
Hey, unless you're doing doing prison poetry, like the old Eddie Murphy, right? He's like,
No, you should have seen my
kill
brother.
my landlord.
Like, oh, and the blues of your eyes make you so, I love you so much. The way the wind hits your hair.
He was trying to be nice.
No,
the maid of honor could have done it. A woman could have done it.
I like the old W.C. Fields poetry where he says, ah, yes, my wife sewed me a tie to match the color of my eyes. Have you ever seen a bloodshot tie?
W.C. Fields.
Or the old prison poetry, kill my landlord. C-I-L, my landlord.
So there you have it. That is my week 7 man violation. So for all you men out there who get asked by your sister to do a poetry reading, just very politely say no. I have a penis.
And it cuts like a knife. Feels so fine. But anyway. So what I was saying is, if you really want to get ahead in this world, what you need to do is get a job as a coat check at one of these theaters. And every coat you take in, dig into those pockets. There's probably some money in there. Anytime you open a closet at a party, there's coats in there. Start rummaging through pockets. You're bound to come up with some cash.
The key is
So go out,
Scott.
take that money, place your bets on Big Pick 4, and as always,
Score with Big Pick 4.
score with Big Pick 4. Yes, sir.
That's funny.
Score with the piece of shit and Buru.
Isn't that great? Number 2.
You should have prepped me ahead of time. I could have had the Nicki Minaj number 2 song queued up. She's got a great number 2 song. I didn't even have like a toilet sound, like a flushing. I need the flushing. I'm gonna have to work on that one.
Do we have a flop?
Yeah, I need to get the plop back. Oh man, too funny.